The strangers, believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night, beneath the pale moon. Loving's for the fools, baby, beware of my bite. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a creeping through the shadows and the corners of your mind. go where the wind blows. I run but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering my name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a
Alright guys, sorry we're a little bit late. The reason is because there's a breaking story regarding the Florida beach shooting. I wanted to delay the cast for about half an hour just so that we could get the information on this. So it's kind of breaking story, so we just thought we'd delay it by half an hour and see how this pans out and then cover this as well. So best thing about not having a boss, I suppose. But Twitter's already trying to blame Trump. Imagine my shock. Alright. Alright. No, the little panda's not going to work. We might have to restart the panda. My webcam doesn't seem to want to work. Give me a sec, guys. We're also going to talk about Julian Assange too. It's kind of a breaking story. There we go. Right. Technical difficulties. Gotta love boomers. Alright. So, Julian Assange. We'll do that after. Let's jump into the breaking story, guys. Alright. Virginia, not Florida. Did I say Virginia? Did I? Yeah. Yeah, he was showing up, but there was no animations. Did I say Virginia or Florida? Sorry. I meant Virginia. Alright. Alright guys, how are we all? The last video, live stream, at least for the day, for the week. So we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about Virginia. We're going to talk about Julian Assange, who is, being psychologically tortured. So the algorithm doesn't get it. Symptoms, says the UN expert. So we're going to go through. We're going to talk about Julian. We're going to talk about Twitter, who suspended a journalist who exposed the Antifa journalist connections. Trump talking about the LBG clinic continues to provide abortions in Missouri. Hypocritical of Netflix and Disney. Trump's approval ratings. Then we're going to basically skip through these pretty quickly because, yeah. Terms of course talking about impeachment yet again. Who would have thought? Hey Trip, how are you guys? Eric, yep, shame that another shooting has occurred. True, Eric. True. Sandra, I thought you were going to bed. Didn't you say you were going to go to bed? Never mind, I couldn't sleep. Okay, cool. No worries. Well, welcome to the Insomniacs podcast. Most likely not real. Yeah, there's some conflicting reports coming out regarding it. It's kind of interesting. They've gone through and they claimed that the shooter is dead. Then they've claimed that they've arrested him. It's sort of like, well, what is he? Unless he's a zombie. But let's jump into it. So at least 11 dead in a Virginia Beach mass shooting at Mississippi Center. That's true. Alright. Let's go through. Let's start this. So at least 11 dead in Virginia Beach mass shooting at Mississippi Center. I'm getting that wrong. At least 11 people were killed after a gunman opened fire at the Mississippi building in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Police Chief James Clever told reporters on Friday night. The shooter, who was a public utilities worker, is dead, Clever said. The chief said that the gunman fired indiscriminately. This is the most devastating day in the history of Virginia Beach, said Mayor Bobby Dyer. The people involved are our friends, co-workers, neighbours, colleagues. Clever said that the shooter was confronted shortly after opening fire on multiple floors. There was an exchange of gunfire with officers, the chief said. The police officer who wore a ballistic vest stopped a bullet was injured, the police chief said. The shooting took place in Building 2 of the Mississippi Center, according to police. Building 2 of the Virginia Beach Mississippi Center houses the operations building for the city, which includes multiple departments. 6 people were hospitalized after the shooting, hospital officials tweeted. Virginia Beach General Hospital said there were 5 patients there. A patient who was at Princess Anne Hospital was being transferred to Norfolk General Hospital and a level 1 trauma center. The FBI is also responding to the incident to provide assistance to local authorities, the FBI spokesman told CNN. At least 11 deaths and 6 injured at Virginia Beach Mississippi complex, police say. Shooter is also dead, reports. So this is interesting because CNN is saying that he was arrested. Oh no, here he's saying he's dead. In one of these other reports, they say he was arrested. And now they're saying he's dead. So I'm guessing he's dead. But yeah. At least 11 people are dead. 6 people were injured Friday when a shooter who shot and killed police opened fire inside Virginia Beach City Building, Police Chief Jim Civrix said on Friday. The shooter was a current long-time public utility worker for the city. #ban all public servants. Civic said the authorities have not released his name or the possible motive for the shooting. I'm guessing it's probably going to end up being a pay dispute or he was fired or something along those lines. This is the most devastating day in history of Virginia Beach, Mayor Bobby Dyer said. The people involved are our friends, co-workers, blah, blah, blah. 5 people were taken to Virginia Beach. I've already said that. Yeah, okay, so nothing new there. So CBS has said, when I scroll up, because I was reading this, 11 people dead, 6 people hospitalized after Virginia Beach, wounding 6 others, as they say. The gunman died in the exchange for gunfire with police, who rushed the scene shortly after 4 p.m. local time. Local police officer was wounded while confronting the gunman, said an officer was saved by his bulletproof vest and pledged to visit the wounded officer by the end of the night. There's no way to describe the incident such as this. A lot of, hashtags, never again, blah, blah, blah. So here it is here. Suspects are taken into custody. Really? Virginia police said one person was taken into custody after multiple people were injured in the shooting. They've also advised the public to avoid the area. So maybe there's more than one? Because these guys are saying that he's dead. And this one says that he's been taken into custody. So, which one is it? 11 people were killed in a shooting at a government building in Virginia. I hear it's actually a court. Someone's saying to me that it was a court case. 30 government buildings. So, yeah. And here's another one. 11 killed in a mass shooting in the US state of Virginia. At least 11 have killed in the shooting. Did they say 11 over here? Yeah, 11 on that one. Yeah, 11. Yeah. Look, obviously, guys, it's a tragedy. Oh, thanks, Tia. Oh, thank you. But yeah, guys, obviously it's a tragedy. Nobody likes reporting on these shootings. It is a government branch. I suspect at the end of the day that it would, yeah, it's courthouse, yeah. I would suspect that this is probably most likely a guy that has been fired, lost his job, or he's had a court case go against him. Maybe he was dragged into court by his ex or something like that, or some sort of dispute, and he has taken it out on the court case because he lost. So at the end of the day, that would be my suspicions, is that this is... I don't think this is a false flag. If it was a false flag, they would do school shootings, for example, because that way, you know, think of the children. This seems to me like it's more of a case of he went into a court case or a courtroom and shot the place up. So I'm guessing he's probably lost a court case. Maybe some sort of domestic dispute, some sort of, you know, custody battle, whatever it may be. And at the end of the day, that is what I actually think it is. Another white guy, maybe. I don't see anything here that goes through and talks about his race. So that generally means it could be a person of color. So I would say, look, to be honest, if it's a court case, and yeah, I would say, I don't know, I would say 50-50 on that. I'm just scrolling through Twitter now and seeing if anybody's identified him. Not yet. Latest. I would say it's probably 50-50. I would not be surprised if it was a person of colour, actually. Hang on, we might actually have a photo. We might. I'm not sure if this is a victim or the perpetrator. Hang on a sec. Reload. No. We have a Oh, okay, that might be a victim, actually. It looks like there's a victim. It's got blood all over him. So, yeah. Doesn't look like it's the perp. I can't find anything. Ah, here we go. A long-time disgruntled city employee opened fires. PBS is reporting. He's a disgruntled employee. There you go. A long-time disgruntled city employee opened fire at a mass appeal building in Virginia Beach Friday, killing 11. Before the police fatally shot him. So this was the next worker. I don't know, guys. There you go. There's some sort of answers for you. Looks like false flag or drills training that are played to be real. I don't know about this one, but what I've seen, I wouldn't believe it. Yeah, I get the skepticism there, Double. I get that. Oh, they're already going for it, Eric. They're already, yeah. I bet it wasn't a pistol. He would have shot that many with a pistol. He wouldn't have shot that many with a pistol. Yeah. Depends on how many people were. Yeah. Look up Joe Rogan on YouTube about Vegas. Some good information. We've actually talked about Vegas shooting, and yeah, I do believe Vegas was a false flag. Something about Vegas is not right. That's for sure. Yeah. We've actually seen. Yeah, we've talked about that ourselves. There was that one girl whose exit wound for the bullet was actually the back of the leg instead of the front of the leg, so that she would have been, and she was running away from the Vegas building, so the bullet would have had to come from front of her, not from behind her. So yeah, we've actually talked about Vegas before. Look. At the end of the day, we will call false flags when we suspect. This, to me, I don't think it's a false flag. I really don't. I think this is legit. Mainly because it wouldn't have been a government building. They wouldn't go in and shoot up their own government building for a false flag. They would go through and they would pick targets that would make people be emotional. They would make things that are math track training, maybe. But they would go through and they would pick targets that they're going to make an emotional response. So children, women, stuff like that. This seems like it's a lot of police officers who were hurt, and lots of crisis actors and training dummies. Yeah. I don't know. I think this one might be real. I think this one, I bet you find that this guy lost his job. He got fired. He's done something, got fired, and glowing body, training bodies, yeah. He goes through and I bet you find he's been fired and he's just pissed off. He's grabbed a gun and shot up his workplace. I'd imagine. I don't think this is legit. Legit. I don't think this is a false flag. I think this is legit, but yeah, I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. Yeah. And look, obviously, you guys have that luxury. Everybody sort of like looks at me and goes, "What's your opinion on this?" So at the moment, I'm going to say I think this is legit. At the moment, I think it's legit. But obviously, I'm open to subject to change. If anybody has any information regarding this that makes them think it's a false flag, obviously drop it in the Discord. We'll have a look at it. But yeah, at the moment, I think this is just some guy who's lost his job, he's got fired, he's got pissed off, whatever it may be, and he's decided to go in and take it out on his former worker colleagues. But guys, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. According to this report, it's a disgruntled employee, so makes sense. But let us know what your thoughts are in that comment section. All right, TL, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I didn't want to say anything because we were recording for that for the upload later. But thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And yeah, if you guys do want to help out help the channel out in any way, share, liking the videos, sharing the videos is also a good thing apparently. So yeah, any of that sort of support you guys can give just allows us to beat the censorship, which is why we're also uploading the videos individually as well now, just so that we can get past that censorship. Because, oh boy, are we being censored. Alright, let's talk about Julian Assange, because I think that's why we're all here. Alright, so Julian Assange shows psychological torture symptoms, says the UN expert. A UK government urged not to extradite WikiLeaks co-founder to the US, where he faces decades in prison. Julian Assange is showing all the symptoms associated with prolonged exposure to psychological torture and should not be extradited to the US, according to a senior UN expert who visits him in prison. Niels Menza, who's probably going to have a car accident over the next few days, UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, is expected to make his appeal to the UK government on Friday. It comes after Assange, the co-founder of WikiLeaks, who said by his lawyer to be too ill to appear by video link for the latest court hearings case on Thursday. Assange has been moved to the health ward of Belmarsh Prison, London, where he has been serving a 50-week sentence for skipping bail while fighting extradition to the US. He is accused of violating the Espionage Act by publishing secret documents containing the names of confident US military and diplomatic sources. Which, at the end of the day, is really, really, really funny, because they couldn't prove that any of the information that he leaked actually put any of the soldiers or anybody in danger. And they actually went to great lengths. I want to actually push back on that. I don't think he could. He published secret documents, but did they contain names of confident US military and diplomatic sources? Like, I don't know about that. After meeting Assange earlier this month, the company for the medical experts who examined him, Meza, will say on Friday that he fears that Australians' human rights could seriously violated if he's extradited to the US, and will condemn what he describes as the deliberate and coherent abuse inflicted for years on him. So Assange was arrested in April after Ecuador revoked the political asylum and invited police inside the country's Knightsbridge diplomatic premises. I'm getting some sort of audio. Okay, that was weird. I had some sort of audio come through. Alright, Assange was arrested in April after Ecuador revoked his political asylum and invited police inside the country Knightsbridge diplomatic premises, where he had sought refugees in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden over allegations of sexual assault, which he has denied, which is not entirely true. He actually went through and sought asylum because he feared the Swedish court case would be used to extradite him to the US. Sorry guys, I'm getting some sort of audio. but I can't find where it's coming from. I can't find where the audio is that's coming through. So sorry about that. So yeah, he sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy because at the end of the day, he feared there was a linchpin to get him back to the US. So yeah. Physically, there were elements, but aside the things that have been addressed by the prison's health services, there was nothing urgent or dangerous in that way, Meza said. What was worrying was the psychological side of his constant anxiety. He was paranoid that he had sense of being under threat from everyone. He understood what my function was, but it's more that he was extremely agitated and busy with his own thoughts. It was difficult to even have a structured conversation with him. Meza said that the Belmarsh was an old prison and had issues about that, but he described it as well maintained, adding the characteristics of a supermax or the Guantanamo Bay of Britain were unhelpful. Okay, I think I found it. That fixed it. Sorry guys, I'm still getting some of this audio coming through. Ah, here it is. Okay, wrong tab. Sorry, let's keep going. Okay, I found it. It was the wrong window. But okay. So Meza said that the Belmarsh was an old prison and had issues about that, but he described it as well maintained, adding the characteristics of a supermax or Guantanamo Bay of Britain was unhelpful. While it does have a high security wing, Meza said that Assange was not in that section. The lawyer who received 10 to 15 requests each day from sources asking for him to get involved said that his office had been approached by Assange's lawyers in December, but he said that he was initially reluctant to do so, admitting he was affected by what he called the prejudice around the case. However, he began looking into the case in March and earlier this week wrote a letter to the Foreign Minister of the US, the UK and Sweden. In the course of the past 9 years, Mr. Assange has been exposed to persistent, progressively severe abuse ranging from systematic judicial prosecution and arbitrary confinement in the Ecuadorian embassy to his oppressive isolation, harassment and surveillance inside the embassy, and from deliberate collective ridicule, insults and humiliation to open investigation of violence and even repeated calls for his assassination. Metzger will say on Friday. Okay. Alright, we'll have a look at it after, man. If you've got a link, can you post it in chat? Yep, no worries, man. No worries. If you can, post it in the Discord. If you're in there, double K. Otherwise, post it in the chat and, yeah. Post it in the chat if you can, man. Copy link. Yeah, okay, so that's actually something we're going to talk about a little bit later. Yeah, Twitter suspends the researcher. Yeah. Alright, let's get back to Julian. Prosecutors earlier this month announced 17 additional charges against him for publishing hundreds of thousands of secret diplomatic cables and files on the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. At least I got that part right. Judges are impartial and independent from the government, with any judge based solely on the facts of the case. Tell that to Tommy Robinson. The UK government spokesman said that the UK has close working relationship with the UN bodies and is committed to upholding the rule of law. We support the important work of the Special Rapporteur's mandate and will respond to this letter in due course. But we disagree with a number of his observations. Yeah, sure you do. So the next court case. So Assange's lawyer, Gwyneth Price, told the hearing on Thursday at the Westminster Magistrates Court the next hearing on the extradition request was set for the 12th of June. So that's when we're going to hear about it next, is the 12th of June. I'll post a link for you, man. That should work. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, Julian Assange suffered psychological and physical harm in Ecuadorian embassy, doctors say. The American doctor who conducted several medical and mental health evaluations of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange inside Ecuador's embassy in London over the last 2 years says that she believes that he was spied on and that the confidentiality of her doctor-patient relationship with Assange was violated. Dr. Sonia Crosby, an associate professor of medicine and public health at Boston University and an expert on the psychological and physical impact of torture, has evaluated detainees held by the United States, including at its prisons in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. She quietly began meeting with and evaluating Assange in 2017 inside the embassy where he had sought refuge. During the last session with Assange on Friday the 23rd, Cosby said that her confidential medical notes were removed when she briefly left the embassy to get food and to bring back to Assange, who she wrote had not eaten. Okay. The notes were then taken from her where she had been evaluating as Assange and only later discovered in another space used by the embassy's surveillance staff. Mr. Assange's right to doctor-patient confidentiality was violated and his confident information had been breached, Cosby wrote in March 1st, affidavit she gave to the United Nations Commissions on Human Rights and the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. In her affidavit, she said that the American notes were presumably read by the embassy personnel. Also, the UN torture report demonized Assange has faced psychological torture. The UN Special Rapporteur on Torture has issued a stinging rebuke on the United States, Great Britain, Sweden and Ecuador for deliberately exposing WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to years of cruel, inhumane or degrading treatment or punishment, which can only be described as psychological torture. In the 20 years of work with the victims of war, violence and political prosecution, I've never seen a group of democratic states ganging up to deliberately isolate, demonize, and abuse a single individual for such a long time with so little regard for human dignity of the rule of law. Oh, thanks, guys. I like RFB, but I like still going strong on the Vegas scroll up. Yeah. Whereabouts did you post that link, man? Sorry, suggestions maybe? Yeah, Satellite's normally on the show. He's just he has a wee little one at the moment that just needs to feed, and yeah, Saturdays are pretty hard for him also. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, do I think Assange was being tortured? Yeah, I do. I really do. I think he's been put through the ringer. I think that these reports that we've been getting regarding Assange are fairly accurate. Am I surprised? No, I'm not. Look, we knew the US was going to go up. Like, let's face it. I'm not surprised one single bit. I'm surprised that no one's done anything about it. Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah. I'm surprised no one has done anything about it. I'm surprised the UN hasn't jumped up and down more on this sort of thing. Someone, I think it was Centaur, was asking me earlier, can the UN do anything about this? Probably not. Okay, so if the UN was to do something about this, right, they would have to go through and impose sanctions on the US. Would probably be their course of action. Good luck getting that passed, because a lot of the other countries won't bat for Assange over the US. It really is a case of, yeah, I don't think the UN can do a lot. They can make recommendations and stuff. And, for example, they can turn around and say to, like, Sweden or the UK or whatever it may be, we reject your application for the US to extradite him. But, yeah. But at the end of the day, whether or not it's actually going to do any good, the best thing that can go for Assange is Trump. But at the end of the day, whether Trump does it or not, that's another thing too. I'm kind of disappointed in Trump, to be honest. I would have expected Trump to do something by now. But yeah, look, I know people are saying 4D chess. Look, he's waiting for Assange to get to the US so he can pardon him, and I hope that's true. I really, really do. But I do worry that the deep state might have their claws in Trump at the moment, and I think when Trump goes through and gets rid of the deep state and gets them off his back, he might have more room to help Assange. And I think that's what's happening with William Barr. I think William Barr is a way that Trump is countering the deep state. But, yeah. I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's disappointing to see that someone who would go through and this is the problem that I have is, and I'm going to call out all the other YouTubers here. How many other YouTubers are talking about this? How many other YouTubers are going through who sit there on their little soapboxes and go on about freedom of speech, about, me rights, me constitutional rights, How many of them else are going through and it's talking about Julian Assange right now? Yeah, they might have mentioned it when it first happened because me clicks, me views, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, the government wants people to memory hole Julian. They want people to not necessarily forget, but stop paying attention to it. So they can extradite him, they can stick him in Guantanamo Bay, and everybody will forget all about Julian Assange. And the ones that do keep going on about Julian Assange, like people like me, for example, who keep going on about that, we're probably going to get called fanatical. Like, oh my God, we're actually sticking up for a journalist and we're fanatical, apparently. That's what it's going to come down to. And the problem is that a lot of these other YouTubers aren't sticking up for Julian Assange. Because there's not clicks in it. Because at the end of the day, it's not something they actually frigging believe. You know, Sargon. When was the last time Sargon made a video about Julian Assange? When was the last time V made a video? And V is more likely than Sargon. When was the last time V made a video about Julian Assange? When was the last time Ben Shapiro or Joe Rogan or any of these guys? When was the last time that Mark Dice, has he ever made a video about Julian? Like, anyway, I don't know, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'm so fed up with fake people in this YouTube sphere who will sit there and go on about me principles and get on their high horse and go on about, for example, freedom of speech and everything like that. But then when push comes to shove, they, yeah. Oh, no, we're not going to talk about this because it doesn't go... When was the last time that, Phil DeFranco talked about it? Yeah. Did he cover it today? Let's see if Phil DeFranco talked about Julian Assange today. Hang on. 5 hours ago. Libya facing huge crisis following civil war. No, didn't talk about it. Didn't talk about it yesterday. Talked about Cardi B, though. Like, seriously? No, the influencer... Look at this. This is what Phil DeFranco's channel is all about. I'm going to freaking call him out live on air. Look at this. No, the influencer bubble is not busting. Israel election chaos, which is obviously important, and Disney and Georgia and Cardi B. The very first video he talks about is actually about Cardi B cancelling tours and about her getting frigging plastic surgery. Julian Assange is in prison right now, rotting away, but don't worry, Phil DeFranco will be talking about effing Cardi B. Like, holy shit. But anyway. I don't know, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright, Alright, so the third video for the day is Twitter suspends researcher who exposed Antifa journalist connections. So Twitter has suspended the account of Elon Lillian, I might be mispronouncing, a researcher who mapped out the connections between mainstream journalists and the violent far-left Antifa movement on Twitter following a mass reporting campaign by left-wing activists. Lian published the results of his research at Quinlet. By the way, we have that article, so thank you very much for the Strozen effect, where he explained the twofold objective of the project. First, to discover the journalists who were the most closely linked to the Antifa via social media. Second, to discover if these journalists covered the extremist movement favourably or negatively. So, the basic report is, in October 2018, my research partner and I decided to investigate the truth of this impression by using a mix of network mapping and logistic analysts to see which prominent journalists who covered Antifa were also closely connected to leading Antifa figures on social media. We then inspected the Antifa-related stories these journalists had written. We created a data set of 58,254 Antifa or Antifa-associated Twitter accounts based on the followers of 16 verified Antifa seed accounts. Using a software tool that analyzes the numbers and the nature of the connections associated with each individual account, we windowed the 58,254 Antifa and Antifa-associated Twitter accounts down to 962 accounts. This represents a core group of the Twitter users who are connected in the overlap the ways the most influential and widely followed Antifa figures of those 962 accounts, and 22 were found to be verified, which 15 were journalists who work regularly with the national level news outlets. The journalists include contributors to The Guardian, the New Republic, Al Jazeera, and the Huffington Post. Unsurprisingly, Lennis' analysis of the journalists who might mingle with Antifa on Twitter found that none of them covered the movement critically. Big friggin' surprise. That correlation turned out to be quite pronounced. Out of all the 15 verified national level journalists in our subset, we couldn't find a single article by any of them that was marked critically of Antifa in any way. In all cases, their work in this area consisted primarily of downplaying Antifa violence while advancing Antifa talking points, and in some cases, quoting Antifa extremists if they were impartial experts. Since publishing his findings, Lennon has had his Twitter mass reported on Twitter. Mass reporting is when an account is swarmed by trolls who abuse the report button, with the hopes of tricking a tech platform's algorithm into automatically suspending them. Of course, with much of Silicon Valley now categorized ordinary conservative speech as violence for their terms of service, this is increasingly easy. Lennon's account has now been suspended by Twitter for more than 2 days. And we do actually have the Quinlet article. It's not your imagination. Journalists writing about Antifa are often their cheerleaders. And it's quite a long article, actually. So, yeah. He's given examples and everything. Should I release another Nazi Discord docs today or nah? I've heard about that. So here's the map. I think that's Chelsea Manning there. So I'll put a link to the Quinlet article below, so you can obviously go through and check it out. Do I think he's been suspended off the platform because of the article? Yeah, most likely. I think at the end of the day that people have mass reported it, sure. But I think that at the end of the day, Twitter is not in a hurry. Oh, okay, cool. I don't think at the end of the day that Twitter is in any hurry to unban this guy. Yeah. They probably know it's a false flag campaign. But yeah. But yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not surprised. I'm really not. So, yeah. Is anybody actually surprised by this article, though, to be honest? I'm not. But let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Actually, before I go, Nonpartisan Media, just writing for Quinlet gets you in trouble. Ha ha ha. Yeah, true. But yeah, guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Alright. Oof, this one's going to be a little close to the sun. Trump celebrates LGBT Pride Month, urges world to decriminalize homosexuality. President Donald Trump tweeted Friday in a celebration of LGBT Pride Month, which begins in June, and represents his administration's call for the international community to decriminalize homosexuality in countries where it's illegal. So Trump has tweeted, "As we celebrate LGBT Pride Month and recognize the outstanding contributions of LGBT people have made to our great nation, let's let us also stand in solidarity with the many LGBT people who live in dozens of countries worldwide that punish, imprison, or even execute individuals on the basis of sexual orientation. My administration has launched a global campaign to decriminalize homosexuality and invite all nations to join us in this effort. I wonder which countries he's talking about there. Trump has frequently been attacked by LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans activists on the left, particularly for his administration's policies on transgenderism. Trump has barred transgender individuals from serving in the military and reversed Barack Obama's policies encouraging public schools to provide further transgender bathrooms. His administration has also recently insisted in sticking to the definition of sexual discrimination that refers to biological sex. More broadly, however, President Trump has championed gay rights at home and abroad. On the campaign trail in 2016, he was proud of his support for the LGBT community, emerging on stage at a rally in Colorado bearing a pride flag with the words LGBT for Trump. In addition, Breitbart News also recently noticed Trump championed gay voices within the GOP since his campaign. When he backed Peter Ethe, the Republican National Convention, Trump appointed the U.S. ambassador to Germany, Richard Garel, one of the highest-ranking gay officials. His administration has launched a global campaign to decriminalize homosexuality. Trump also recently described the gay marriage of potentially 2020 rival Peter Buttigieg, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and a candidate for the Democratic Party nomination for president, as absolutely fine, great, and good. So, yeah. I don't think Trump is against the LGBT community. The reason why he doesn't want them in the military is because they have around a 40% suicide rate. And to be honest, you don't want to go putting people that have a high amount of suicide in possession of firearms, or anywhere near firearms, or anywhere that's a high stress environment, like for example working on an Air Force base. That's why one doesn't want them in there. Also, there's a whole bunch of, for example, problems when it comes to, like, for example, what if they're, for example, out in operations and they can't get their hormone replacement therapy? For example, what if they go through and do surgery, which is admittedly rare, but still some do it. They're off for, 6, 8, whatever weeks. So, yeah. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. No worries, Trip. Have a good day, everybody. Alright. Clinic continues to provide abortions in Missouri. Judge rules abortion services can continue for now in Missouri after judge ruled that the license would not expire at the end of the day. On Friday, the state had refused to renew Planned Parenthood's license to continue providing the procedure. Circuit Court Judge Michael Stiltz ruled does not renew the license. Instead, the ruling allows the current license to remain in effect until the matter can be held in court again on June 4th. So they get about a 3 or 4 day reprieve. Planned Parenthood has demonstrated the immediate and irreparable jury will result if the Planned Parenthood's license is allowed to expire, Stiltz wrote on his discussion. The court finds that the temporary restraining order is necessary to preserve the status quo and preserve irreparable injury to petitioner pending disposal of the case of its merits. If the clinic had stopped providing abortion services, Missouri would have been the first state in the nation to block the procedure in more than 45 years. So, yeah. Missouri last abortion clinic to remain open. Judge orders, at least for now, until at least Yeah, 4th of June. Disney Netflix threatened Georgia boycott, but will continue work in countries where abortion is illegal. Might actually record this one. So, Disney Netflix threatens Georgia boycott, but continues to work in countries where abortion is illegal. Film industry giants Disney and Netflix are threatening to boycott the state of Georgia over its new heart-bill abortion law, but have continued and even stepped up filming in countries which abortion is entirely illegal or highly restricted. Variety reports Monday Netflix intends to increase production in Egypt, where abortion is illegal, with Paranormal, directed by Amy Alsma, based on the horror book by late Egyptian author Amek Kavod Tofigi. I might be mispronouncing. We're excited to continue our investigation in the Middle Eastern productions by adopting the highly acclaimed paranormal novels into a thrilling new series, said Kelly Lumber, Netflix Vice President of International Origins. Variety reports Paranormal is the third Middle Eastern Netflix original series. It follows Jinn, a teen drama with supernatural themes that was filmed in Jordan, where the abortion is illegal except to save the life of a woman or the health is in threat. Women as well as abortions can be penalized for defying the law in Jordan. Despite filming these in these nations, however, on Tuesday, Ted Soros, Netflix chief content officer, told Variety that the company has many women working on productions in Georgia whose rights will be severely restricted by the Georgia law that prohibits abortion. What about the ones that work over in Jordan? Do they not have their rights restricted? Of course they do. To me, this is them basically saying, look, at the end of the day, people are going to care about Georgia. People won't care about, for example, Jordan. So we're going to keep filming in Jordan, but we'll just wind back on Georgia because we don't want the bad PR. They don't really believe this shit. They don't really believe and care about this stuff. At the end of the day, this is all PR. It's all it is. And at the end of the day, even the left will not care that they film in Jordan. I know, they're filming over in, for example, Georgia. Okay, what about Egypt? Oh, well, you know, it's not really our culture or our place to say. Yeah. But anyway. It's one rule for me, one rule for thee, I suppose, isn't it? Trump's approval rating, highest level in 2 years. I might record this one too. Trump's approval ratings highest level in 2 years. President Donald Trump's approval rating reached its highest level in 2 years. According to a new poll from Harvard Caps Harris, which suggested an analysis that consumer confidence in the economy is likely contributing factor. 48% of voters surveyed said they approved of Trump's job is doing a president, which is the highest approval rating captured by the Harvard poll since June 2017. Trump's disapproval rating was just slightly higher at 52%, as reported by The Hill, which is not bad considering the amount of bad press that he's actually getting. Like, yeah. So, it's not bad at all, really, to be honest. The survey, which is conducted between May 29th and 30th, notes that the good economy could be circling the relatively high approval ratings. 59% of respondents said they approve of Trump's handling of the economy, while a record 62% say they approve of his approach to employment. A stunning 71% of voters viewed the economy as strong or very strong. People's views on the economy are gradually pushing Trump's numbers up, and this action on other issues like China and immigration are neutral to positive. The Department of Labor reported in its April jobs report that the unemployment rate fell to 3.6% and the economy added 263,000 jobs, making March the 103rd consecutive month of job growth and unemployment rate was its lowest level in 50 years. So, good on you, Trump. You're doing a good job. Enjoy yourself, I suppose. But yeah. In chat, Sat says, I prefer my companies be greedy than virtuous. Yeah. True. True. Trump 2020. William Barr blasts media for ignoring surveillance against the Trump campaign. Also on this too, one thing that we know that we didn't report on, Mueller actually walked back his report the other day. You know, when he went through and gave the press conference, everybody, you know, went through and took the sound bites out that they wanted. He actually walked it back a bit. He walked it back about 8 hours later. Attorney General William Barr accused the media in the new interview of being uninterested and finding out about the origins of Trump-Russia probe, of the skirting their duty as watchdogs for the public. Normally the media would have been interested in letting the sunshine in and finding out what the truth is, Barr said in an interview with CBS, and usually the media doesn't care about that much. About practicing intellectual sources and methods, but I do and I will. So this is the actual interview here. Imagine my surprise. Barr was discussing his plans for the declassification of documents relating to the surveillance actions against Trump campaign and Russia investigation. President Donald Trump ordered the heads of various government agencies, including the FBI and CIA, to provide materials to Barr. He's also granted Barr the authority to declassify documents as he sees fit. The discussion generated heavy criticisms from former intelligence officials, TV pundits, and some journos. The New York Times, Politico, Washington Post, and other outlets published the stories that quoted former intelligence officers fretting that the declassification order would allow Barr to disclose the identities and confidential sources used in the Russia investigation. The Times article asserts that the CIA is concerned that the declassification order will lead to an unmasking of sensitive Kremlin sources close to Vladimir Putin, which seems like a load of crap. The Times reported that the source, which the CIA has circulated for years, provided the information that Putin directed the election interference in 2016. To me, they seem to rely on this excuse every time there is some sort of declassification. Oh, my sources, you might give away my sources. So, yeah. What are you going on about, satellite? Are you having a stroke? Alright. Trump to mandate social media disclose for all foreign nationals seeking visas to the US. President Trump's State Department will soon mandate that all foreign nationals seeking to enter the United States on a visa provide their social media accounts to screen out national security threats. Oh, I don't like this. The Trump administration's least immigration directive, the State Department, will begin mandating the foreign nationals seeking any visa to the US, including all of non-immigrant employment, student, tourist, and business visas, disclose their social media accounts if they're on social media. Should a visa applicant claim they do not have a social media account when in fact they do, the State Department officials said they would become ineligible for permanent visa. They would become eligible for a permanent visa ban to the US. Dude, I can't pronounce a lot of things, let alone tongue twisters. Like, have you tried to see me pronounce names? The agency's initiative to increase screening measures of more than 1.2 million legal and immigrants admitted to our country every year is part of an executive order signed by the president in 2017, with a senior White House official calling the new rule a critical step forward in establishing enhanced vetting for foreign nationals. As we've seen around the world, in recent years, social media can be a majority form of terrorist settlement and activity. The senior officials told Breitbart News this will be a vital tool to screen out terrorists, public safety threats, and other dangerous individuals from gaining immigration benefits setting foot on the US soil. I get that. I keep being reminded by the quote from V for Vendetta that if you start giving up your liberties for security, what is it? A person that gives up liberties for security will have neither. I think it's something along those lines. I get the fact that social media is important. I get the fact that you have people on there who are terrorist sympathizers and it's easy to weed them out. But at the end of the day, I don't know, you're going through and chastising the most to try and catch a few. Isn't this, what the CIA, NSA, and all this deep state surveillance, isn't that what they claim they need it for, to catch terrorists? I don't know, I really don't like the fact that you're having to give up liberties just to, meet terrorism sort of thing. Obama goes to Brazil and bashes US gun laws. Former President Barack Obama told a crowd in Brazil Thursday that the US gun laws don't make sense because people can buy any weapon anytime, which is completely infactual. Obama's remarks came during an interview at Vedtex Day, a conference in São Paulo, Brazil, after he was asked to describe his hardest day as president. Most difficult day I've had was the day where there was a shooting in a school where 20 small children were shot, he said. Oh, look at that crocodile tear. Some of you may be aware our gun laws in the United States don't make much sense. Anybody can buy a weapon anytime without much, if any, regulation. That's a lot of crap, but anyway. But then they buy it all over the internet and they can buy machine guns, which is also a lot of crap, but anyway. Yeah, I tend to go satellite, stuff giving up our freedoms. Talking about the last report there. Okay, so the quote is, who trade freedoms for security will lose both. Yeah, that's somewhat right. Senator Elizabeth Warren, if Trump weren't president, he'll be in handcuffs. Okay, 124th Indian. Thursday on ABC's The View, 2020 Democrat President hopeful Senator Elizabeth Warren said that if President Donald Trump wasn't president, he'd be in jail for obstruction of justice. No, he wouldn't. Sorry, you're just factually inaccurate. Because the fact is, they could not prove that he obstructed justice. They could not prove it, and they could not prove that he did or that he didn't. And in the US, you have a presumption of innocence. So it is up to them to prove that he obstructed justice. You can't prove that he did. Rob Rayner vows to prove Mueller report the biggest pile of criminality against any US president. Appearing Friday morning on MSNBC's left-wing actor and filmmaker Rob Reiner pledged to show Americans, with the help of several videos, that Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report contains the biggest pile of criminality against any US president. Not going in there with a biased or pre-contend agenda or anything like that yet. Don't worry. Rob Reiner, one of the Hollywood's most outspoken critics of President Donald Trump, discussed a video he produced for Now This News, which, has a history of getting things wrong, which features actor and fellow Trump hater Robert De Niro, a federal prosecutor, explaining the special counsel's findings. Yeah. So in other words, they're going to get a whole bunch of anti-Trumpers together to sit there and try and go through and make a report that claims that Trump broke the law when Robert Mueller even walked back his statement the other day. But anyway. Hillary Clinton and Chelsea Clinton are starting a production company. It's going to be called Horses Are Us. Former Democrat president candidate Hillary Clinton and her daughter Chelsea are starting a production company for film and television projects, Bloomberg reports. The Clintons will focus on women and aim to influence current culture. The project will be by women, about women, sources close to the matter said, according to Bloomberg. Hillary also signed a deal in August to be the executive producer of Steven Spielberg's The Woman's Hour, The Guardian reports. She follows other politicians who have turned to Hollywood, such as former President Barack Obama. Obama and his wife Michelle created a production company in 2018 called Higher Ground Productions, which has dealt with Netflix. They announced 7 projects on April 30th and will create in collaboration with the world's largest streaming service. And they're probably going to fail. Because nobody likes this PC bullshit. Nobody likes this agenda load of crap. But waste your donors' money, I suppose. Delaware woman brutally attacked at Dominica Republic resort, cautions vacation. Tammy Lawrence Delaney of Delaware says that she was violently attacked and left to die while vacationing at the majestic entrance Punta Cana Resort in the Dominican Republic in January and is sharing her story to warn future vacationers. The mother said she was grabbed from behind by a man wearing a majestic entrance uniform while getting a snack and was taken into a maintenance room and beaten to the point of almost death. He also possibly sexually assaulted due to damage down there, New York reports. She was then dragged into a basement, crawled space, and left for dead. Hotel workers found the bruised and beaten Lawrence 8 hours later. She spent 5 days in the hospital, has endured multiple surgeries, and is still recovering from her multiple injuries, but had message for those talking about leaving the country for vacation. Even though you think you're sitting in paradise, still think you're safety, you're not. It's funny because it's oh my god, it's the right wing that tends to report on this domestic abuse. Makes you wonder why the mainstream media on the left is not talking about this. Maybe it goes against a certain agenda. Nadler, there's certainly justification to impeach Trump. Okay, you want to name it? They're really going to flog this horse, aren't they? House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jared Nadler said on Friday there certainly is justification for Congress to begin impeachment proceedings against Trump. Just do it. Just frigging go for it. I want you guys in the Democratic Party to jump this shark. Please jump it. Okay? I will give you the trampoline for you to get that decent springboard effect. Jump the shark and completely screw up any chance of winning 2020. Because I tell you now, the impeachment's not going to work. You're going to end up looking like a bunch of morons. And at the end of the day, the Republicans are going to win. Because the public is generally not interested in this. The general public, and the vast majority of them, have gone through and have realized this Mueller report is a nothing burger. Even Mueller's statement that he made the other day, right? He had to walk it back. Even Mueller walked back his statement that he made, which was completely ambiguous, by the way. But, we're going to take sound bites out of it to prove our point. And it's really weird because no one on the left, including Phil DeFranco, actually talks about this. In fact, I had to hear about it from the right wing. That's how I heard about it. Look, let's do it. Let's talk about It was Hannity. It was Hannity. Let's watch this video together, because I want to give this a little bit of highlight. So maybe it's this one. Here it is here. Right. Here it is here. Let's go through. This is what the left-wing media does not want you to know. And I'm probably going to make a video about this later today. Later over the weekend. Here it is here. Oh yeah, oops, video was muted, wasn't it?
The president is now taking major action to secure our southern border. Just moments ago, announcing a brand new tariff on Mexico, pressing this country now to stem the flow of migrants that are overwhelming our entire immigration system. We'll have a lot more later in the program. First, though, tonight, the deep state is in a complete panic mode. The walls are closing in. We are now only days away, as we've been told by the Attorney General, from the release of major documents exposing the corruption at the highest levels of our government. Now, remember, the Attorney General said that he expects the Inspector General Horowitz to report on FISA abuse any day. And then, of course, we have the other 4 devastating buckets that we keep talking about, exposing what is the real election scandal to, one, rob an election, and secondly, undermine a duly elected president. But first, as we told you last night, the Russia hoax, it's dead. It is buried. It's non-existent. And by the way, just hours after his 9.5-minute statement fueling Democrats' hopes once again of impeachment and more hysteria and breathless reporting, well, Robert Mueller has now already backtracked, because last night the Department of Justice and the special counsel, they actually had to release a joint statement to correct what Mueller said. In other words,
oh my freaking God! Oh my God! Really? Because I heard about this on CNN, right? The Attorney General has previously stated that the special counsel repeatedly affirmed that he was not saying that. But for the, I think it's the Office of something, logistics or something, I think it is, opinion, he would have found the president obstructed justice. The special counsel's report. He actually...
Mueller needed to walk back everything he said yesterday in a dramatic fashion, because he totally contradicted everything that he'd been saying. Now, clarification, well, it wasn't exactly that, but it said this. But for the OLC, Office of Legal Counsel opinion, that Mueller would have found the president obstructed justice. Well, the statement entirely consistent with the Attorney General's previous remarks in spite of the media mob's coverage. Remember, Barr said that Robert Mueller told him over and over again, and numerous other people heard it, and explaining just weeks ago, Mueller stated 3 times to us in that meeting that he emphatically was not saying that, but for the Office of Legal Counsel opinion, he would have found obstruction. In other words, the Justice Department policy of whether you can or cannot indict a sitting president was never an issue, period. What does this mean?
Oh my God! Imagine, can we get this running on CNN right now? Can we get the CNN to go through and say, holy sorry, we're wrong? Can we go through and get that correction? Are they going to go through and are they going to push this as hard as they pushed his earlier statements? Are they going to go through and make a video and put it up saying that Robert Mueller has backtracked on some of his statements regarding Trump obstruction? The answer is no, by the way.
As the Attorney General Barr said today, Mueller could have reached a conclusion as to whether there was any criminal activity, but he chose not to. Take a look.
I personally felt he could have reached a decision.
In your view, he could have reached a conclusion.
Right, he could have reached a conclusion. The opinion says you cannot indict a president while he's in office, but he could have reached a decision as to whether it was criminal activity. But he had his reasons for not doing it, which he explained. And I'm not going to, argue about those reasons. But when he didn't make a decision, the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, and I felt it was necessary for us as the heads of the department to reach that decision.
So the Attorney General, and by the way, that's because Democrats like Jerry Nadler wanted to get rid of the old independent counsel statute. That means the Attorney General is the final arbiter. He's made up his mind, along with the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, and the Nonpartisan Office of Legal Counsel. They were all crystal clear. For the media mob, let me spell it out for you. 0 findings that the president obstructed justice. None. And by the way, it had nothing to do with some Justice Department policy. Not because of a legal constitutional restriction, because there was no evidence. Now, make no mistake, this is no cover-up, no case against the president, no collusion, no underlying crime, no intent, no obstruction. In other words, the opposite of Hillary. But, of course, the radical extreme socialist Democrats, the rage Trump media mob, well, they refuse to focus in on the truth on this major issue. Ask yourself this. Why didn't the media mob report with the same intensity the release of the clarifying remarks of Robert Mueller after he botched it yesterday morning? Why didn't they put the same passion in as they did the 9.5 minutes of Robert Mueller? Here's another question. Why are they so lazy, so predictable, so partisan? Why are they fake news? Why do they feign moral outrage and then purposely fail to tell their viewers, as little as they are, the truth? How did they become so partisan? How did they become so political, so corrupt, that they just refuse to answer simple questions and inform their viewers? The clarification of Mueller was massive. The correction was massive. So why did they choose to continue to peddle another round of lies and conspiracy theories and advance their hoax yet again?
That's easy. Because they're failing. Mainstream media is failing right now. CNN's ratings are continuing to dive. MSNBC is not doing much better. They are all failing as a corporation. So what do? They employ activists. And these activists then go through and put out clickbait sort of headlines. They go through, they push a narrative because they know that that's going to get their core base in a bunch. They go through. The problem is that by employing these activists, they become undone more than they already are. And the network completely fails. This is all the final death struggles of mainstream media. The reason why they are so partisan that they can't do anything but push an agenda is because they're all activists. That's all they are. Every one of them is an activist. Fox News is not much better, but at least Fox News has a somewhat biased, unbiased opinion when it comes to certain things. But CNN, MSNBC, all these deep state sort of shills, and like I say, Fox News is not much better when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, the left-wing media, they've all completely lost their audience. People do not trust them anymore.
Why do they choose to act as partisan hacks instead of serious journalists? By the way, 99.9% of newsrooms in America, they all got it wrong. It was the talk show hosts, people like us. Yeah, we do straight news. We do investigative reports. We do opinion, but we're honest about it. And even sports and culture. They say they're objective. They're anything but. But why are they choosing to put fake news narratives over the facts after 2+ years of lying and choosing to relentlessly smear, slander, besmirch anybody who dares to question their lack of ethics and objectivity. Look at this tonight. The New York Times, they are now scared, taking notice, and they're realizing, they've been duped.
That in itself is a bombshell. New York Times reportedly steering writers away from Maddow and other cable shows it deems too partisan.
By the conspiracy TV media mob. Look at this new report. The New York Times is warning editors and reporters against appearing on primetime shows on fake news CNN and conspiracy TV MSNBC. Now, why would the New York Times, not go on their favorite programs, who refused, by the way, to ask tough questions to begin with? Like, did Robert Mueller forget his previous statements and yesterday's remarks? Or did he intentionally muddy the waters to fuel the Democrats' unrelenting impeachment rage psychosis? Well, now the president is standing strong, not letting himself be a punching bag, taking direct aim at the former special counsel, as he should, and his partisan witch hunt. Let's take a look.
Robert Mueller should have never been chosen because he wanted the FBI job and he didn't get it, and the next day he was picked as special counsel.
I don't remember which story it was you were talking about, man. Did you want to post it in chat and I'll look? Yeah, sure.
So you
or
tell
post it.
somebody, I'm sorry, you can't have the job.
Or post it.
And then after
Post it in Discord if you're still in, yeah.
you say that, he's going to make a ruling on you. It doesn't work that way. I think Mueller is a true never-Trumper. He's somebody that dislikes Donald Trump. And despite $40 million, 18 Trump haters, including people that work for Hillary Clinton and some of the worst human beings on earth, they got nothing. It's pretty amazing.
Now, the president, he didn't stop there, calling out the special counsel more for a conflict of interest, writing, quote, Robert Mueller came to the Oval Office seeking to be named the director of the FBI. He had already been in that position for 12 years. I told him no. The next day, he was named special counsel, a total conflict of interest. The president's right. But here's the big takeaway from all of this.
Just to talk about something that Eric says in the chat. The conventional media that has been around long before the conception of YouTube is dying because independent people are doing a better job with reporting news than aging news media. 100% right, by the way. This is the thing, right? And I'm not tooting my own horn when I say that. When I say this. But some effing red panda avatar on the YouTube who gets anywhere from 4 to 10 viewers a live stream, which is not a lot, by the way, seemingly does a better job covering the news than most of the major media outlets out there. Just reiterating that. Me sitting in a study with an avatar of a red panda seemingly does a better job covering the news than a multi-million-dollar corporation. But at the end of the day, we're the ones that YouTube will want to censor rather than the fake news media outlets out there. Someone work that out for me, because I tell you, I really can't understand why. I have a theory, but moving along.
Robert Mueller, I am telling you, is scared to death to testify. Why? Because he'd have to answer real tough questions from people like Congressman Jim Jordan, Congressman Mark Meadows, Congressman Devin Nunes, and others. And by the way, Devin Nunes will be here in just moments. He would be afraid to answer questions like, Mr. Mueller, when did you know that there was no collusion? And by the way, if you had all this time to investigate FARA violations and taxi medallions and loan applications and decades-old tax returns, how did you not have any time to investigate the origins of Hillary Clinton's dirty Russian dossier that was used to commit a premeditated fraud on the FISA court, undermine a duly elected president after an attempt to steal an election? Oh, and of course, disseminate the Russian lies to the American people, and then spy on the...
Yeah, anyway, you guys got the idea from that story. This is something that Satellite just posted in chat. New York Times bans reporters from CNN, Don Lemon's, MSN's Rachel Maddow shows for being too partisan. New York Times is cracking down on its own reporters, stopping them from appearing on certain primetime cable newslets as being seen as too partisan, according to a new report. Vanity Fair published the explosive report, which alleges MSNBC's Rachel Maddow and Lawrence O'Donnell, as well as CNN anchor Don Lemon, made the newspaper's no-go list. You know, who am I surprised? So, yeah, let's keep going. Obviously, at the end of the day, speaking of impeachment, co-founder of Rolling Thunder Motorcycle Ride says bikers will descend on Washington if arrogant little something or other Pelosi impeaches Trump, who's tired of putting up with her bull something or other. Colourful language, but you get the idea. The co-founder of the annual military advocate event that draws hundreds of thousands of motorcycles to Washington says bikers will descend on Washington and protest if House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who he calls an arrogant little something or other, moves to impeach Donald Trump. The Rolling Thunder ride draws more than 500,000 riders, largely military veterans, each Memorial Day. But the next year, Americans will see multiple local events instead of one giant demonstration. It snarls traffic and would bring the nation's capital to a standstill if they weren't held on a holiday. Eric Muller, who helped organize the first ride in 1987, thinks the threat of returning en masse in response to presidential impeachment, along with other patriotic Americans who don't ride motorcycles, could change some minds in DC. He said during a speech Monday on the National Mall that Pelosi should lose her seat in Congress for presiding over a series of investigations that threatened to make the second half of Trump's first term an endless series of headaches. Let's see what he has to say. It's only a minute.
Knows they left. Our government knows they left behind live American people.
Damn internet, still not upgraded, so it's hard to say. I'd like to see Nancy Pelosi and her hypocrites work on POW issues instead of bull something or other and aggravating the President of the United States, who's doing a fantastic job, he said. Satellite just posted a link also. We'll talk about that after as well. Alright,
POWs during the Korean War. They know they left them behind in World War II. They left them behind in Vietnam. When the hell are they going to wake up? It's not their children, their mothers, their fathers that are left behind in the POW camps. I would like to see Nancy Pelosi and her hypocrites work on the POW issue instead of bull aggravating the President of the United States, who's doing a fantastic job.
Can we just, like, pay respects to some of these beards that these guys have got? Look at this beard here. Holy shit, man.
He's working for us.
That's impressive.
That is our house. He understands that. What the politicians don't like is he has money and they can't buy him.
It's probably true, actually.
He's not a politician, so they can't screw over him that way.
That's true too, probably. Alright. Transcripts released of Flynn's voicemail from Trump lawyer showing possible attempt to obstruct. Let me guess. It's going to be another secret source. Justice Department on Friday released transcripts of a call from Donald Trump's attorney, John Dower, to Robert Keller, the lawyer for Trump's former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, where he sought information about Flynn's discussions with the special counsel. However, the Justice Department refused to turn over transcripts of Flynn's calls with the Russian office, including then-Russian Ambassador Sergei Kliskov, as expected after the judge prosecution. Dow also wanted to remind Flynn about the president and his feelings towards Flynn. The transcripts were submitted to federal court, Washington. What does this have to do with Trump? You said here, transcripts released of Flynn voicemail from Trump lawyer showing possible attempt to obstruct, right? The president's feelings towards Flynn. Is that what they're calling obstruction now? So the actual transcript, hey Robert, this is John again, maybe. I'm sympathetic, I understand your situation, but let me see if I can't state in starker terms. If you have, and it wouldn't surprise me if you've already gone to make a deal with and work with the government, I understand that you can't join the joint defense. So that's one thing. If you have other hands, information implicates the president, then we'll give a national security issue. Then we've got a national security issue. Or maybe a national security issue, I don't know. Some issue we've got to deal with, not only the president, but for the country. What the... Please tell me they're not going to run on this one as well. This just seems like nothing to me. Some kind of heads up. Like, I don't know, guys. I'm going to put a link. I'll put a link in the you've got the title here. To me, I'm so over this shit. I really am. We've already talked about that. Okay, let's talk about something that's actually interesting. Because I'm so sick of all the Russia bullshit. Aggressive 11-foot alligator breaks into Florida home. Police trap and remove the unwanted guest, telling it, "See you later, alligator." Da, 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 da. In a wild crocodile. Da, 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 da. 11-foot alligator broke into the Florida home and stunned its human inhabitants when they woke up Friday morning to be greeted by the massive reptile, police said. The unwanted overnight visitor broke through the low windows of the home in Eagle Landing neighborhood and broke 4 bottles of wine. Oh my god, it's an alcoholic. Clearwater police spokesman Joel Castell called the alligator aggressive. Yeah, probably because he wanted to eat something. This one broke through the glass, got into the home, Castell said. I don't think it deliberately broke in the home because it thought, hey, there's going to be humans in here. I think it just didn't see the glass and just pushed its way through it. Clearwater police and local trapper captured and safely removed the alligator, officials said. With the injury-free conclusion, the scary gator versus family encounter, Clearwater police had fun with the incident, tweeting, "See you later, alligator," da, 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 along with the alligator emoji. Funny old story, isn't it? You know? Alligator. Who would have thought? Respect beards. You guys are, like, behind. Alright. Mexico president lashes out and Trump in anger an angry letter saying he turned the US into an anti-immigrant country overnight. Oh my god, how dare he. Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has pushed back against President Donald Trump's move to impose a blanket 5% tariff on all Mexican goods. In a pointed letter released Thursday, Lopez Obrador lashed out at Trump for what he describes as the US president's turning the United States overnight from a country of brotherly love for immigrants from around the world to a boiled space where its stigmata mistreat abuse, prosecution, and denial of rights to justice to those who seek, with the sacrifice and hard work to live free from misery. So he's obviously pro-immigration, and this is why he's not stopping the immigrants from coming up from other parts of South America. Who would have thought? Six arrests charges laid over alleged crime spree. Oh my God, look at that lovely white Australian. 6 people have been arrested in some charges laid over a series of alleged home invasions, carjackings across Melbourne earlier this week. Fuck it, let's record this story. 6 arrests made, charges laid over alleged crime spree. Look at that lovely little white face. Isn't he lovely, a white Australian there? It's a good thing he's not an immigrant. 6 people have been arrested and same charges laid over a series of alleged home invasions and carjackings across Melbourne earlier this week. The terrified alleged crime spree that started on Sunday night involved 3 violent home invasions spanning Melbourne and the theft of 5 cars, including a carjacking at Port Melbourne. Shepparton man Al Sarari, who's pictured above and has a lovely white Australian name, who's identified yesterday, was taken into custody at Kingsburg overnight. He's since been charged with 3 counts of aggravated home invasion, 3 counts of false imprisonment, 3 counts of theft, 5 counts of theft of a motor vehicle, aggravated carjacking, 2 counts of reckless causing injury, and assault in company. Thank God we are bringing these people into Australia, because the diversity I am feeling enriched right now as we go through, and we love hearing about all these criminal charges he's been charged with. He will appear at Dandenong Magistrates Court shortly. The 16-year-old boy from Broadmeadows, a 20-year-old Beveridge man, have been released pending intent to summons. Police say they arrested 6 people. Nobody else was outstanding. Fantastic work. If only we had have closed the border and maybe not brought these people into the country, we wouldn't have had a problem with this right now. But don't worry, there's no such thing as African gang violence. Right, media? As you can tell, I'm starting to get very, very sick of reporting on this. But regardless. And oh boy. Sophie Turner and Jessica Chastain say they won't work in states with strict abortion bans. Are they going to work in Egypt? Jessica Chastain and Sophie Turner are speaking out about their decision to join a growing number of performers who say they refuse to work in states with restrictive abortion laws. The X-Men Dark Phoenix actress told the Sky News Wednesday that their names are among the signatures on a March letter stating a proposition to Georgia's heartbeat bill, abortion ban. The letter's going around that I've signed saying I'm not going to work in any state that declines the right for women, for the LGBT movement community, for anyone, Christina, 42, told the network. Darling, you're 42, you probably can't be that picky about what jobs you take. I'm not going to work in a state that criminalizes, she added. Okay, what about other places like Indonesia or, for example, Egypt or any of these sort of other countries where not only are LGBT people do not have the right to get married, but they also get thrown off roofs? Are you going to care about that? Former Game of Thrones star Turner said she had yet to inform her agent that she signed the same letter as Christian. They're going to be like, what? You can't work in these states? 23-year-old Turner said, yeah, I can't work in those states. Okay, we'll get someone else who can. Several big-name entertainers, including Alec Baldwin, Maya Farrow, and Ben Stiller, also attached their names to the letter spearheaded by the actress Alyssa Lana and addressed to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. The message said that the celebrities would push film production crews to abandon the state if the abortion became law. Georgia's controversial legislation, which Kemp signed in early May, bans the abortion after the fetal's heartbeat is detected, which can occur as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy. The law is poised to go into effect on the 1st of January. Kemp had mocked the reaction from Hollywood, saying earlier this month that Republicans value and protect the innocent life, even though it makes C-list celebrities squawk. Other major film studios and other media companies have also threatened to boycott the state over the abortion law. Netflix chief content officer Ted Soros said that if the legalization should go into effect, the company would rethink the entire investment in Georgia. Walt Disney CEO Bob Iger has also said it would be very difficult for companies to make films in Georgia if the abortion restriction becomes law. Now, obviously, guys, if you have already been watching the show for today, you're going to know we are going to circle back to this article here because I'm actually recording this and I'm going to upload it. Disney Netflix threatens Georgia boycott but continues to work in country where abortion is illegal. Film industry giants Disney and Netflix are threatening to boycott the state of Georgia over its new heartbeat abortion law, but have continued and even stepped up filming in countries which abortion is entirely legal or highly restricted. Variety reports Monday Netflix intends to increase the production in Egypt, where abortion is illegal, with Paranormal directed by Ara Salma and based on the horror books by late Egyptian author Amit Khalif Tawaf. I'm getting that name wrong. We're excited to continue our investment in the Middle East productions by adapting the highly acclaimed paranormal novels into thrilling new series, said Keller Lippert, Vice President of Netflix of International Origins. But I thought you cared about the abortion rights. Right? Isn't that what they say? They're going on about how much they care. You know, we have celebrities threatening to not work in the States, and Netflix and Disney saying that that they might have to stop production in these states that support the abortion ban. But mind you, here they are working in Egypt, which, by the way, has strict abortion laws. It's like it's one rule for me, one rule for thee. It's like they don't really care about these laws per se. Or maybe the identity politics is just too strong and we can't dare not film in Egypt because we might be seen as racist. Which is probably what it's more likely to be. Variety reports Paranormal is the third Middle Eastern Netflix original series. It follows Jinn, a teenage drama with supernatural themes, blah, 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 blah. Despite filming in these nations, however, on Tuesday's Ted Soros, Netflix chief content officer told Variety the company has many women working on productions in Georgia's whose rights will be severely restricted by Georgia's law that prohibits abortion once a fatal heartbeat is detected. Let alone, for example, getting arrested in other countries like Egypt, where it's just plain illegal to get an abortion in any form. We're still going to go and work in those countries, but God forbid we go and work in Georgia. Is that what you're saying to me, Netflix? So I said Netflix will continue working with the ACLU to fight the new law. Given the legislation has not been implemented, we continue fighting to film there, while we also give supporting partners to artists who choose not to, he added. Should it ever come into effect, we'll rethink our entire investment in Georgia. What about Egypt? What about any other Muslim country? Where was Aladdin filmed? Let me just double check. Aladdin. Film location. Let's see where Aladdin was filmed, right? Filming and production for Aladdin. Alright, filming locations was in Jordan. Oh my god, I wonder what Jordan's abortion laws are like. Let's... There's the locations there. Jordan. Jordan abortion rights. A woman who performs an abortion on herself in order to save her honor shall benefit from a mitigation of punishment. Whoever intentionally performs an abortion on a woman without her consent shall be punished for up to 10 years, which is obviously fair. Whoever by any means performs an abortion on a woman with her consent shall be punished for 1 to 3 years imprisonment. But don't worry, we're still gonna go and film in frigging Jordan. Here it is here. Filming location, Jordan, right? Here it is here. A woman who through any means performs an abortion on herself or consents to another person applying such shall be punished. So not only are they performing an abortion, not only are they punishing the abortion doctor, they're actually punishing the woman for doing it. But don't worry, we're going to go and film a $1 billion box office over there while virtually signaling about frigging Georgia. Oh no, we can't go and film in Georgia because of the abortion laws. Hold my beer, we're going to go over to Jordan and film instead. Is that what you're telling me? Holy shit! The self-awareness level, please. Frigging hypocrites. It's Nonpartisan, they don't care about the abortion laws. They care about the local politics and the optics. Exactly right. They do not give a shit about women's rights. Anybody that thinks these companies do, they don't. Companies like these who make movies for children backing killing those children. Yeah. How many people, how many children die in these Jordan sort of like style countries? But don't worry, we're going to go and film a kids' TV series there. You know, don't worry, we're not going to go to America where we could get... Yeah, of course, the reason why they're filming in Jordan is because it's cheaper. Right? That's what it's all about. It's about their bottom line. At the end of the day, we can still go and film in Jordan. No one will care about the abortion laws over there. But don't worry, we can still save a whole bucket load of money. Like, we talked about this earlier in the live stream. I think it was Satellite that said that I would much rather my company's greedy than virtual signaling. And I agree to a certain point. But to me, this is sort of them being a bunch of hypocrites. It really is. And it seems to have been the whole message for the day, because we also talked about Julian and everything like that. But at the end of the day, and when I say that, I mean other YouTubers not covering it. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's them basically going through and worried about the PR backlash for filming in Jordan. Because of some celebrities got their knickers into a knot because of abortion laws. Mind you, they still won't have a problem filming in Jordan. But, yeah, kind of makes you wonder if Will Smith is going to sign this anti-work order for Georgia after just coming back from filming in Jordan. Does make you wonder, doesn't it? Yeah, TJ, man, I don't know if Amazon Prime is any different. He says, I'm boycotting Netflix and switching to Amazon Prime. I don't know if there's any benefit, to be honest. Yeah, but I would too. She's pretty hot. But at the end of the day, yeah. There's actually a really good show coming up on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime has this show. It's about a demon and a angel. They lose the Antichrist. It's called Bad Omens, actually. I want to check it out. It's got Matt Smith, I think it was, from Doctor Who. He plays the devil. Looks really good. She's so damn hot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sophie Turner's definitely hot. But look, at the end of the day, look, regardless of how hot she is, she needs to, get in the kitchen and, make me some dinner. This is why you don't give women the right to vote sometimes. Anyway, on that note, is that enough for an alt-right hit piece yet? But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm so sick of these celebrities voicing an opinion on something. And then being a bunch of hypocrites about it. They're being sheep. They're being told what to say, when to say, and they don't go through and think for themselves. Maybe I'll tweet at Sophie. I'll tweet at her, Alec Baldwin and all these guys, and I'll ask them point blank, are you going to boycott areas like Jordan as well? And we'll just see the deafness of their replies. Because I tell you now, they won't respond. But anyway, I'll keep you guys up to date on Tuesday with how that one goes. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Apart from that, guys, that's basically where we're going to go through and leave today's show. If I have any more videos or anything, I'm going to just explode. I'm just about to lose it. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. That's true. Amazon Prime for the 2-day shipping benefit. That's true. Yeah. I'll tell you. I'll go through and I'll tweet at these women. Annalisa Joel. Alyssa Milano, Sophie Turner. I'll tweet at these girls and I'll ask them: are you planning on boycotting countries like Jordan as well, who have strict abortion laws? And we'll just see. Hang on, Ashley, here, while I've got it on. So, tweet. Okay, so what's Sophie Turner's? PHIE. Here we go. Okay, so I found Sophie. Oh, I'm following her on Twitter. Tweet. Hang on a sec. No. Who is the second star? Jessica Creston. So this is why I get myself into trouble doing this sort of shit. Yep, okay, this one. Who else signed it? Was it Alec Baldwin? Yep, Alec Baldwin signed it. I'm just going to tweet it. I'm tweeting at all of them. Fuck it. Mia Farlow. Here we go. Bush, Disney. Let's tweet also at Disney. And Netflix as well, because you know they also need to go through and Netflix. There we go, Netflix. So I was wondering if celebrities and production studios like Sophie Turner, Jessica Cousin, Alec Baldwin, Maya Farrow, and Disney and Netflix are going to boycott working in countries like Egypt, countries and places like Egypt, Croatia is another one. That's a good one. Croatia, Ireland, Bolivia. Oh, here we go. The Last Jedi was filmed in Croatia. Oof, that's inconvenient, isn't it? And Jordan. And Georgia. Georgia. I closed that. Okay. I don't. I don't get the whole breadcrumbs thing that you're trying to say. Why is that a bad thing? Right. What's the abortion hashtags? Does anyone know? I've got abortion rights and my choice. No, abortion ban is another one. Right. Published. Okay, it's done. Okay, guys, if you want to go to Twitter and retweet that, and we'll see. Here it is here. That is the tweet. I was wondering if celebrities and production studios like Sophie Turner, Justin Elberg, and blah blah blah, Netflix are going to boycott working in countries and places like Egypt, Croatia, Ireland, Bolivia, Jordan, as well as places like Georgia. Abortion rights, abortion ban. What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon I will get a response? I'm guessing probably not. But let me know what you think in the comments. Alright guys, apart from that, my body, my choice. Yeah, I couldn't see anything coming up under that, so yeah. Alright, but guys, yeah, sorry about the dead air. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Apart from that, guys, obviously this will be it for the week. We'll be back again on Monday night or Tuesday morning. Plus, I'll probably do a video over the weekend. Probably, I don't want to deal with Julian. I've talked about that enough as it is. So I'm probably going to try and pick something else to talk about. Although I am renovating a kitchen, so yeah, see how it goes. But guys, apart from that, thank you everybody who has jumped in today. Thank you everybody who I think donated. I think it was... Ooh, I don't want to say Eric. TL, that's right, it was TL. Thank you very much, TL, for the donation. Everybody who obviously is watching this video later on demand. Everybody who obviously shares these videos, quick smack that like button if it was helpful. And apart from that, guys, we will see you all early next week. Apart from that, guys, enjoy, have a great night, and yeah, have a great night. Love you guys. Bye.